Hello everyone, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today we're going to make a box, which is pretty simple. I actually shared a little bit with you about this box before. I just hadn't gotten around to making it. We're going to use this really fun DSP. Now, this is a DSP that you can actually only earn for free if you have a $150 order or more, or you do a party. It's called Pattern Party Designer Series paper. It has a lot of really vibrant, pretty patterns, as you can see. This is another one of them. I think this is one of my favorites, but has some flowers, and there's another stack under there. Some stripes, kind of like a giraffe pattern, which, ooh, that would kind of be nice for this other thing I'm making. But lots of patterns. But the other side, in case maybe you're not into that, is all black and white patterns. So it's stuff that you could color in. So you see you have dots, chevron, mini dots, white on black, flowers, circles, lots of different stuff. So again, this will be available with orders of $150 or more starting on May 4th. It's Pattern Party Designer Series paper. This is a big pack. It is 48 pieces of 12 by 12, which is a huge bargain. So maybe even if you don't necessarily think you'll have a party that large, you could even get a group of friends together and you guys could do an order together. So what I have is a box. This is very simple. This is using just jade as the base, and it measures 7 5/8 by 10 1/2. So it's pretty easy. I'm not going to rescore one for you, but I'll tell you where I scored. So on the 10 1/2 inch side, we'll go this way. It's a little bit easier. You'll score at 2, 5, 7, and 10. So it's going to give you this full piece. And then you're going to turn it a quarter turn. Now I like to do this each way because it makes it more symmetrical of a box. So on the 7 5/8 inch side, you're going to score it at 1 1/4. So score it 1 1/4, flip it 90 degrees, score in a 1 1/4. That way you will ensure that it is absolutely even. So I did also get some designer series paper. So I'm just going to tell you what this measures as well. So I have 4 pieces. What I did was I trimmed a piece of cardstock to 4 7/8. And then I cut these, that way they will be in order. And you really could skip the one piece if you wanted to, because you don't really necessarily need one on the bottom. But I have 2 pieces that are 2 7/8 by 4 7/8. So that's these 2. And then I have 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 4 7/8, which are these 2. So what you can do, and I'm gonna cut first and then we'll assemble this. And then I think we're gonna decorate it with back on your feet. And then I also may use Inspired Thoughts to add in a little something or other. I'm not really sure. This is actually part of a bundle that's going to be coming out. It has a really great set of dies to go with it to create trees. But I really got this because I loved the words and the fonts. And they're also they're red rubber, first of all, which is my preferred stamp. But they're really good sizes. So that's why I went with that. But I thought maybe we could add something to this. So what we're going to do is you are going to trim on the score line. And this one, I'm going to remove this piece here. So I'm going to trim this a little bit closer. Give that a little wedge. Same over here. And trim. Okay. And then just cut up to the score lines again on all of these. So this is the top of your box. So that's why I said if you don't want to put one on the bottom, the other thing we could do is we could use that piece for the inside to decorate it. So this is what your box is going to look like, just like so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere and I want to make sure that this at least measures correctly. It does have a pretty slim border. If you wanted a bigger border, you could absolutely do that. I do like using the liquid glue because in case you goof it up, you can kind of wiggle it around for a second. So kind of like to wiggle it in place. That way it kind of spreads the glue around. So we'll skip the bottom and we'll use that for the inside. I just don't know exactly where yet. If I want it on the inside of the lid or need a little bit more here. Inside of the lid or the bottom of the box. So there's that one. We'll skip this one. This will go on the inside. And then this right here. And I kind of like putting the paper on before you actually make the box because I feel like you can center it because this, again, is a pretty slim border. It's only 1/8 of an inch. If you wanted something bigger, you could certainly do that. Okay, so we have that. And then this is going to go on the inside. So I'm going to do a little teeny trim on these, and I just mean just a little bit. You could have done this before when you did your cutting, but just a little wedge kind of helps your box go together a little bit better. So I'm super excited that the catalog is going to be launching, because this is such a difficult period for me with having 2 catalogs. Stuff sells out. Oh, this is one of the, I say worst, and that sounds like such a complainy thing to say. So I don't mean it that way, but it is a difficult time of year for me mentally. Just too much going on. My brain is on overload. Okay, so there is that. Those. So with our box, what we're going to do is we're going to put some adhesive on the inside of both of these tabs, and then this part is going to just overlap. Okay, so it's not a full closing flap, but I kind of felt like I don't mind, I don't want to say not using the paper as much, but I don't mind making it shorter in an effort to save paper. So I'm going to, where did I want to go with this? I'm actually going to put my adhesive on here. So you could use liquid glue or tear and tape. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue. I think that is correct. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up and just hold it in place for a minute. The only thing about liquid glue is you do have to hold it for a moment. But the nice thing about liquid glue is if it's not exactly square when you put it there, you can fix it. So there's that. And then same on this one. I'm just going to put both of these in so this one's ready when I want it. Just like so. So I can bring that over just a smidge. That way it's square. Same with this one. And just kind of give it a good press. Okay, so then there's that. And then this is going to close just like so. Now, if you don't like these flaps because they stick out, you can absolutely trim these off because you don't need it. You could also wedge them just a little bit so you can fit it on the inside. So I'm going to show you how to do that for this one instead. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take and give a little bit more of a angle trim. And this just gives you another way. You could also close this with ribbon. And if you did long ways, it'll hold your flaps down for you. So it just kind of depends on how you want to close it, what amount of effort you want to put into it. When you do that, you're going to put these in and put this in, and then, oops, went a little too far with that press. And then your box closes just like that. So just kind of depends on which way you want to do it. You could also even, to kind of keep it so the top is a little bit more, you could even do it this way and then do your ribbon around the front. So lots of different ways you can do it. It's really kind of up to you. And even if you ended up with your little angle trimming here, even with it out on the outside and this one on the inside, I still think it looks nice. So I'm going to end up doing mine this way. I'm just going to put some ribbon, but just to show you a different way. And then what we can do is we can either put this on the inside here so it fancies it up, or we could put it on the bottom. And I think I'm going to go with the bottom just because I think it looks a little nicer. So just as a change of pace, I'm going to put my adhesive onto the DSP because it's pretty close of a fit. And just going to pop that in. Just move it just slightly so it's pretty much centered. So that's pretty much it for the box. So now thinking of what we might want to put in it. I think the turtle is super adorable. So let's do him. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap. And I'm going to do this with Memento so I can use my blends. And remember, you're doing this to make someone happy. So the turtle doesn't necessarily have to be green. It can be any color you want. And I also kind of brought in, and I don't really know what this will look like, but Granny Apple Green does go with this. So I could cut out the turtle and maybe stamp my sentiment. I thought maybe that would be a different idea. So I'm going to let him dry for a minute. And I'm going to do You Make a Difference Every Day. And I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to stick with the Memento. I shouldn't have pushed that off to the side so far. And let's see. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stamp this. This is just a scrap piece that I had, and I'll just tell you just for the sake of it, because I'm sure someone will want to know. It's probably about an inch and a quarter by 2 and almost 3/4. So just approximate. It was just a scrap piece I had left. So I'm going to stamp it over just a little bit, just like that, and that way I can flag the ends. Okay, so there's that. Just going to give a little snip here on the end. You could also use your triple banner punch or banner triple punch if you have that. That is something that's retiring. So if you don't have it already, depending when you're watching this, you may or may not be able to get it. So that's cute. We're going to go with that. Put him on there. And we could either fussy cut our turtle, or we could use a die to cut it out. I think I might use the stitched layering dies, which are retiring as well. So unfortunately, oh, we're losing those, which kind of makes me sad, but what you gonna do? I'm going to go with, because I wanted something just a little bit different, so I'm gonna go with, I believe I have Poppy Parade. So light Poppy Parade, and nope, that's not it. Dark Poppy Parade, correct, and light, that's dark real red. I wanted light real red, and light real red. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just doing these a little bit different, and I actually want to grab one other thing. I'm going to grab a little bit of light pumpkin pie just to give him a different shade. So we're going to make him just a little bit unusual of a color. I'll kind of bring in some of the other colors here. So I'm just adding a little bit of the light Poppy Parade to his shell, and I'm going to do his legs and his head in a similar color, except for the eye. Just adding in a little bit of that. And I want to add a little bit more to the beak. Okay, so I have light Poppy. Add a little bit of that shading here. Nice part about this stamp is it has shading, so you kind of know where to add it. Make his belly a little bit darker. Just like so. A little bit to the head. Okay. And now I'm going to bring in a little bit of the dark Poppy. And then we're going to reblend this with the light pumpkin pie. I'm just kind of going like an all over blend, just to kind of bring those colors together. A little bit all over when I'm doing the light Poppy, which was there, just to kind of blend it out a little bit. It's kind of like an orangish reddish turtle. Our one of our big schools here, their mascot is the terrapin, so a lot of times they do show him as kind of red because he's fierce, I suppose. So, and then I have one more. I wanted to bring in just a little teeny bit of light real red, just for the edging. Not a whole lot. Okay, and I need to get a little teeny bit more of his toenail action here so that at least blends in. And then one other thing, I'm going to grab Dark Pool Party just to fill in the eyeball. I don't really know why, but I feel like it just needs to be a little bit different of a color. And then I'm going to do a little shading down here. There we go. Okay, so just to wrap this up, I'm going to die cut this. And for the stitched shapes, they're nice because they do layer. Again, this one's a little bit too tight, so I'm going to go with the second largest stitch circle. You could do the ovals as well, but this is probably going to be one of my most missed things, not being able to tell people they can buy this in the catalog. So I'm going to die cut this really quickly. And now we'll just put this together. So I know this might kind of be a little weird, like you make a difference every day, but maybe, you know, the person makes a difference is helping this little turtle get back on their feet. Just to bring a little bit more in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green marker and I'm going to go around the edge just like so. Because I like that. It kind of makes it stick out just a little bit. And I'm going to grab one of my favorites. This is the Flowers for All Seasons ribbon. So lots of things will fit in here. You can see this is a pretty good size. So I'll show you my Tipsy and my liquid glue fit in there so you can see, and there's still room to spare. So it is a pretty good size box. You can fit a memento. You can actually maybe fit like a memento and a Versamark. If you were giving this to one of your crafting friends, maybe you could give them something like that to get them started. This would be a good gift too for your potential downline if you have new people joining your team, which would be super fun. I guess probably more so if they're local, because this would probably not be quite as cheap to ship, but you know, sometimes I like to go out of our way for people to make them feel special. And I'm just going to bring this to the side. Oops, and I might actually end up adjusting this to the other side. So the Flowers for All Season ribbon is carrying over to the new catalog, which is super. I'm going to bring this just a little smaller. And it does actually come with 3 different ribbons. So it's a white, and then there is a silver and Misty Moonlight twine, and then there is a what is that color? Just Jade, I believe it is a gingham. So I'm going to bring this over. I'm just going to slide this over, and then we're going to put this on here. I'm going to put this on with some glue, and then we're going to kind of put the whole thing on with dimensionals. So you would want to make sure, depending on how you do this, if you're going to put this on, that you have already added what you want to add to it. Because if you put dimensionals on here, it's going to kind of keep him in place, but it also works to hold your ribbon in place. So what I'm going to show you is, and I'll just have to take this apart afterwards to remove my stuff, but no biggie. I'm going to put one on the top, one on the bottom, and then one here. So I'm going to put one right under the words, just like so, just like that. Pull these off. And then the dimensionals will kind of help to keep your ribbon in place. There you go. Absolutely adorable. Cute little box. So again, this really fun party pattern DSP is a host gift in the back of the catalog. So if you're looking for it and you can't find it, you do need to look in the very back of the catalog. As soon as I'm able to show you the inside of the catalog, I will definitely show you where you can locate it, because it is really cool. So instead of just stamp sets at the host sets, they did some paper, which I think is really amazing this year, because it's a great thing to be able to share. So I thank you guys so much for watching this. If you have any questions or comments about what we used today, or a suggestion for a video, please feel free to send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. I think this is a super fun way to just do something outside the box, and literally outside the box, and maybe brighten someone's day. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment here on YouTube, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to do that. You just have to hit the subscribe button, and then make sure you click the bell. It will tell you every time I make a new or live video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.